Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to my weekly update. It is finally the end of party conference season. Obviously we're up at the Labour Party conference in Liverpool and we've just come back from the Conservative Party conference in Birmingham. Many of you will have listened to the Prime Minister's speech yesterday. It was, yes, all about growth and deregulation. It was an extraordinary conference in many ways. I don't think I've ever been to a party conference that felt quite so unusual. A lot of MPs not there. Obviously they pay out of their own expenses to go, but there were a lot that weren't there. Things seemed quite fiery, if I'm honest, and to a certain extent a disconnect between cabinet colleagues as to the way forwards. They did seem to come together yesterday, but the opportunity to have those conversations on our stand, not just with members of the current cabinet, but also with MPs, is incredibly important at this time. We had a reception which we co-hosted with the Food and Drink Federation. Delighted to welcome Karen Betts to be part of that. The new Secretary of State, Ranil Jawanda, spoke at our reception and he said it's about three things. It's about the environment, it's about food production, and it's about growth. So we will look to see and certainly to influence what the new thinking is and actually how we, I think in the first instance, create stability and certainty. Those are two words that seem to have eluded everybody for a while. I was really pleased that Liz Truss, the Prime Minister herself, found time to get onto the stand. Kemi Badenoch from the Department of International Trade was also on the stand. James Heapy and many, many others. I think most members of the Cabinet made it round. So yeah, it's interesting times to say the least. But one thing I really wanted to get across, I've met with Ranil 3 times now, was the challenges of access to people effectively, not just seasonal, but permanent as well. And so alongside our Director General, Terry Jones, we both went up to Shropshire early Sunday morning. Huge thanks to Phil and Liz Maddox, who are one of the 3 largest UK salad growing businesses. They hosted the visit and Ranil and his team came up sadly and frustratingly slightly late, so they saw the spinach cutting, how vast amounts of investment into automation are making such a difference in salad cropping. But he didn't see probably the one thing that we wanted him to see, which was the lettuce cutting rig, which again shows that investment in automation, but it also importantly shows the importance of the dexterity of the human hand. 9 people cutting, each of them 10 iceberg lettuces every 60 seconds. You can't keep that level of productivity at the moment without the human hand. Obviously the technology is there, but it isn't good enough yet. And this is the point. We need to build bridges to get to this new world. The investment is happening, and we are as well invested as we possibly could be. So actually I took a video of myself there within the cutting rig so that you can send it to him and so that he can see it. But it's probably the most pressing issue right now that we really do need Home Office to act on. We are downsizing the horticultural sector, not least through the volatility in energy at the moment, but the fact that we do not have access to people. And that, I know, is a challenge that is played out right the way through the supply chain and certainly across all sectors. And talking of energy, we held our first live event of the winter months, and there'll be many more coming up, really looking at the energy bill relief scheme. We had Jack Watts from our side, who is our food chain chief analyst, and we had John Swain from NFU Energy, really looking at all the different things that are happening right now and trying to answer the huge amount of questions that we've got coming in. I hope you found it helpful, and please do go back to NFU Online if you weren't able to join us and you want to look at it again. We're very keen on your behalf to produce a fact sheet for you that will answer the questions. I'm conscious every business is different, every business's attitude to risk is different, so we will make sure you have all the advice you need to make the decisions that you need to make over the coming weeks and months ahead. I guess that the headline ask, if you like, that I would be putting to government is this isn't just about primary production, it's about keeping volume of supply going forwards in food production to avoid further food inflation for consumers. If we see contraction, that will drive further food inflation. So 6 months is really welcome, but there is a clear and pressing need now for agriculture and horticulture to be classed as vulnerable sectors and treated differently, because this isn't going to end anytime soon. And I guess the last thing that I wanted to say on this vlog is it's renewal time. You'll probably be well aware that your NFU membership renewal is landing on your desk or has already landed on your desk. And I hope through these vlogs, I've given you a snapshot, if you like, a very small window into the breadth and depth of what the NFU is doing on your behalf. Because certainly for myself as a farmer, I feel if we took the NFU out of this, if it didn't exist, who would be making the case for British agriculture? Whether that is about influencing for future workforce, whether that is about making sure trade deals are fair, the Northern Ireland Protocol is resolved, and our relationship with Europe is an economically sound one, which at the moment we're seeing massive contraction in our trading relationship. It's in the interests of both sides that it works, so engaging with member states, getting them to lobby their governments, that's been so important. And indeed, we won't resolve border control posts, seed potatoes or anything else unless both sides are asking effectively for the same thing, whether it's about the future of regulation, dealing with avian influenza, really challenging and focusing how we eradicate bovine TB, and developing a future policy which will affect all of our lives, getting that right, fairness in the supply chain. Every single thing that touches every single part of your business, we have somebody that is on it. And I want to reassure you that in these very challenging times, we have your backs. And it's not about me, and it's actually not about the great technical team of staff, or indeed my other office holders or the sector board chairs. Fundamentally, the NFU's great strength is about you, our members. You're what matters, and you're the strength in this organisation. And I want to keep growing the membership, and I want to keep representing more members, because that's what gives us the power to hold retailers to account, processors, government. So please share the message, please work with us, because I don't think we've ever needed the NFU more than we need it now. Wherever you are, please take care, and thank you so much for listening.